Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Wednesday, 19th of February, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pilled.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on Pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you're our family. We know you like to push buttons, and you got like 7 choices over there. So clickety click away.
Clickety click, everybody. Woot woot. Okay, so it's another Wednesday, hump day. Happy hump day, everybody. We're glad
Hump
you're here.
day.
And it's things are still happening, are they not?
They are.
They are. But we should probably say hi to the fam first.
We should.
All right.
We got F. Clint in the house.
Yo, what's up, F. Clan?
We got Mike in the house.
Hey, Mike.
We hope you're feeling better
Hope
today,
you're feeling
sir.
better today, man.
We got Miss Jenny in the house.
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
I'm sure we'll have more people.
Yeah, people will be rolling in here real soon, like.
We got Sheriff Hector over on Pill.net.
What's going on, Sheriff Hector?
So glad you're here with us.
Yes, we are.
Up there's Miss Steph.
Hey, Steph.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Grateful all of y'all are here.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Whether you're just lurking or you're active in the chat, we do appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
We got Chachi in the house.
Hey, Chachi.
So, you ready?
Almost. Yes.
Almost?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I had to do some clickety clicking of my own.
Clickety click.
All right.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Can you read that?
Yes.
Okay. Mike says he's better today, but not 100%. Hey, we'll
Hey,
take better.
Getting better's
Mm-hmm.
better.
Better. Yes. Can you read that, please?
Okay, we're ready now?
Yes.
Okay. CBS exposed for presenting Samantha Power's speechwriter as a random civil servant in Doge critique.
Let's listen.
Oh, they're really hating the Doge.
They really are. And I think it's hilarious.
I mean, yeah.
Was no process. No one explained to them why they were being relieved.
To my knowledge, they received an email, and then if they didn't leave the building, they were escorted out of the building.
These people got generous buyouts, 8-month severance. I'm sorry, but did CBS interview the fired Keystone Pipeline workers, the fired Army officers who refused the needle, or Black Americans who lost their job to migrants? No. That one lady was Samantha Powers' speechwriter. She's no random civil servant. She's the top flack for the USAID chief. Just last week, this same lady told ABC she was pocketing her pride flags. The networks are using the same victim over and over.
Doge was in the building. We took down our pride flags. I took out any books I felt would be incriminating. No one was talking. We heard they started taking transcripts automatically of all of our Google Meets. They unplugged the news in the little kitchen galleys. It didn't feel good. And then Saturday, all of the websites went down, and then I lost complete access to my computer.
60 Minutes is CBS's premier investigative unit.
Thoughts?
Well, that's a real shame. It's a good thing she got rid of all the incriminating evidence.
Yeah.
Because I was worried about that, making
Yeah.
sure that all the incriminating evidence was gone. Yeah. And then they wonder why we don't want them there anymore. They've been, they are this. I guess the best way I can put this is a lot of these people are like when you see one person working on the street and then there's like 4 or 5 guys standing around. I mean, I've been in one of those circles before, and everybody's there for a reason. But at the same time, it could be done significantly more efficiently. And that's what these people are upset about is if they have to stay there, they're going to have to be more efficient. And efficient means that it's going to actually feel like work. And I get it. We'd all rather be sitting on the beach, sipping Mai Tais, so that way we could, stroll back to our casa, our hacienda, over there as we enjoy the beautiful weather, wherever it is we may be. And it's just not what work is. And you're there as a civil servant. Another thing that's kind of been lost in the whole job description.
Yeah. Do they even know that they have a job?
What do you mean?
Because they're all acting, well, one, how do you
They still
go
have a
on-
job.
How do you go on television and say we took away all the incriminating evidence? You're telling on yourself, dumbass.
Well, they've been doing that, and that's great,
Yeah.
and it's on video. Hey, Aaron, what's going on, man?
Hey, Aaron. Exactly, Chachi. No more free coffee and internet. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
This is another thing, and I'm having conversations with people, and it's a bit of a difficult conversation because they know people are losing their jobs, and it is sad to lose your job, but at the same time, how many jobs in the civilian workforce are prevented from happening for each job that's in the government workforce? See, if the money wasn't getting taken out of everybody's pockets, more people would have the money to be able to, start a business, pay off, not only pay off their bills and be able to put food on the table. People appreciate food. It's probably one of the main motivators for having a slaving job where you're just trying to get paid just enough so that way you can, keep the lights on in the house. That's the way so many people live. And these people are preventing that. We have to keep in mind there's tons of fraud, waste, and abuse, and it's not necessarily the it's not necessarily the individual employees so much as it is the amount of employees that are out there. Things could be run so much more efficiently, and that's what we need to do. And this isn't the first time this has happened in the history of our nation. And so it's going to have to be refreshed. We got to take it out, wash it, put it in the sunlight and see what we really got going on here. And it ain't pretty. And so, the people who lose their job, I do not appreciate the fact that you do not have a job. I don't like that. However, I'm sure that with all of your, credentials and everything, somebody will be happy to hire you. And that's what it is, because the way the government's been running things, people have not been able to get jobs. Did they care this much? Like Jesse Waters said, did they care this much when all of those coal miners lost their job and were told to, learn to code?
Yeah.
Did they interview all those people? No, they didn't.
No, they didn't care.
No, they didn't care. They put up a whole bunch of their greenie friends who want to, say how great everything's going to be. And everybody knew otherwise. And there's a whole list of jobs that have been lost because of government intervention. It's awful. So yeah, it sucks, but we got to get back to reality because we are absolutely falling apart, and $1 trillion deficits aren't sustainable.
No, they're not.
They're not sustainable, and they haven't been
No.
shown to be sustainable. And so why would we continue to do the very thing that's going to take this nation down? My heart goes out to you, but we all gotta take a bite of this shit sandwich that the government put all of us in.
Exactly. Hey, Liberty.
Hey, Liberty, what's
he
going
says
on?
we can start the stream now. He's here.
We can start the stream now. Okay, you didn't miss much.
You ready?
Yeah,
I got Greg Gutfeld talking about Doge.
I always like Greg Gutfeld.
Let's listen.
All righty.
I was reminded of when Biden knew he couldn't actually pass constitutional muster by forgiving student loans, but they did it anyway. And then the court kept striking them down. In this case, the judges so far have upheld President Trump's rule.
It's been, I think it's been the last 4 years of nothing but projection. Almost everything that they accuse Trump of doing, they're either planning on doing or have already done. We could go through those, but even also the projection is found in their accusation that Doge isn't being transparent. Not transparent enough. Are you out of your mind? This is a criticism that they never lodged against the government. Like, how are they spending your money? Like, that should be transparent. I have to say, I'm exhausted by the transparency. I feel like I'm falling behind in everything that I hear. Every day I wake up, there's a new Doge thing. It's like, I have enough problems. It's like it's like getting like a load of morning emails from Dana, and you go, I got to read this. Yeah. Telling me I have to read that. Also, if the Dems are so certain that Trump's policies won't work, why not just sit back and let them fail? Their panic is telling you that they fear or they know that he's going to succeed, and that's going to prove him wrong. I also just want to comment on that relationship between the two. It's like they're like not Batman and Robin,
Jesse and Johnny.
No, because this is like an equal footing. Maybe it's the Green Hornet and Cato, but they finish each other's thoughts.
Yes.
And also, this goes back to like the idea about age, that Trump may be closing in on 80, but when it comes to technology, he's right up there. He understands AI. He can hang with these tech bros, and it's pretty seamless. This is not like the Joe Biden 80 or 79 we saw. The Democrats have a problem with this story because if a doctor tells you that they need to remove a polyp from your colon, but they need to put a camera up there, and you're like, you're not putting a camera up there. It's like, well, are you hiding something in your butt? It's like it's going to save your life. And that's all Doge is basically a bureaucratic colonoscopy, which is necessary. And I think this is also why we needed an outsider. We've had oversight committees and we've had inspectors generals, and still billions went missing. So it's good to have an outsider come in. That's why they bring it out.
All right.
Hey, Don. Hey, Randoon.
Hey, Don. Hey, Randoon. What's going on, y'all? Thanks for joining.
Yes.
All right.
Thoughts?
As awful as the analogy is, it's a governmental colonoscopy, and nobody's excited about it. Like, we don't want to be looking up there either, but for some reason, there's a whole bunch of shit coming out of there in D.C., and so we got to figure out what's going on because whatever's happening, it ain't healthy, and there's going to be a lot of upset people. It's amazing to me that people are still buying into the concept that this fake rage of defending the people who are stealing your money. It's not the individuals who are getting fired. And you know what? This is what the left has been doing to police, military, and fire the entire time. Every time there's a budget cut, who gets cut? It ain't all these programs that are soaking up all of the tax dollars that are giant black holes for budgets. No, they're taking away the things that we, the people, actually want the government here for. That's to make sure that the streets are safe, that our houses aren't going to burn down, and that there's not going to be some foreign invasion that's going to, take over the United States. Let's just throw that out there, right? But that's where the first cuts always come from. It comes from the manpower of the people, of the people that are doing the job. And we understand that, there's lots of TPS reports, but maybe we don't need as many TPS reports. And those TPS reports not being there anymore will make it much more efficient. And then that way the government can run the way it's supposed to, with a budget that average people could probably take a look at and say, okay, I can buy this for the most part, but we got a lot of growth to do. And so, yeah, it's going to be ugly. So just take it.
Take it.
Just take it.
Okay.
I got nothing else. There's no good advice for it because that's what everybody else has had to do.
I know.
Think about, look, when I was growing up, there was always 2 police officers to every squad car. They had
Correct.
a partner. There was always a partner there. And when there was a partner there, there would be, I'm assuming, a little bit less corruption than if it was just one individual, right? And that has been changed. Everything's been changed. We need our money to go back into those programs to make sure our streets are safe.
You're right. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Donald Trump reads a list of wasteful spending.
Let's listen.
Ooh.
Where's the money being spent, right? Let's go into that for just a second. $520 million for a consultant on the environment. It's called Environmental, Social, and Governance Investments in Africa and mobilize private sector resources. $520 million. Somebody got $520 million for an environmental. Sounds like an environmental study. I've always been one that paid a lot of money for my environmental studies, but I paid like $50,000, not $520 million. $520 million for ESG. $25 million to promote biodiversity, conservation, and promote licit livelihoods by developing socially responsible behavior in the country of Colombia. Well, it's nice. $25 million going to Colombia for something that nobody ever heard of. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. $40 million. $42 million for Johns Hopkins, great place, to research and drive social and behavior change in Uganda. $42 million. What about us? What about social change in our country? $70 million for a center at Purdue to research university-sourced, evidence-based solutions to developmental challenges. I mean, these are massive numbers on things that nobody ever heard about. $10 million for Mozambique voluntary medical male circumcisions. $9.7 million for UC Berkeley to develop a cohort of Cambodian youth with enterprise-driven skills. In other words, let's teach them something about enterprise. What about our people? Can't we teach them about enterprise? $2.3 million for strengthening independent voices in Cambodia. $32 million to the Prague Civil Society Center, which is a very liberal group of people. Wonder how much of that money came back to the people that approved it. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $486 million to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, including $22 million for inclusive and participatory political process in Moldova, and $21 million for voter turnout in India. Well, why are we giving $21 million to India? They got a lot of money. They're one of the highest taxing countries in the world in terms of us. We can hardly get in there because their tariffs are so high. We're giving $21 million for voter turnout. It's voter turnout in India. What about like voter turnout here? We've done that, I guess. We did 500 million, didn't we? It's called the lockboxes. $20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud.
Thoughts?
Well, like you said, this is all fraud. It was the list was some of the most ridiculous projects, and we don't need to be spending that much money on anything that's outside of our country. There's no need for it. Certainly not right now. Other countries need to learn how to take care of themselves, because we've been paying all these countries and they haven't exactly been caring about what's in our best interest. A friend in need is a friend indeed, huh? And we've certainly learned that. So we need to be friends to ourselves first before we can be friends for anybody else, because all of this is just grift. It's grift. And I highly doubt with the, what did he say, $520 million for an environmental study.
Mhm.
Well, let me tell you about the environmental study. We're doing shit the wrong way, and we need to go back to the way it was done in like the 20s and 30s. 100 years ago, and then that will create a much more healthy environment. And not everybody needs to have a giant SUV. And the only reason why that has happened is because the way the government regulated everything. It used to be that people were content with their station wagons, but we had to have something that was much bigger than those station wagons. And the only reason why station wagons went away is because of the way the cafe laws were written, and it basically shut out the family vehicle that everybody could get in, and I'll tell you what, kids these days, they're missing out on a rumble seat in the back of the station wagon.
Yes.
Liberty says Trump said 20% to all Americans should be 80%. Well, yeah, I get it. But we'll see how this thing plays out. I have a feeling that there's a long-term play on all this. Jenny says we need to take care of America first. 100%. And then F. Glenn says, assuming Elon's projected $2 trillion savings and 350 million Americans, that's $1,200 per head. I don't know if the math is right.
Yeah, he actually put out a story today. Thank you, Steph, for sending that to me. He is proposing to President Trump that every adult American legal citizen gets $5,000. That's the news right now.
As of right now.
As of right now. You ready?
Almost. In terms of the payouts, I have a feeling that there is going to be money. Should I have a video about that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I think I'd actually seen something where he was like supporting the concept, but I don't know whether or not that's going to happen.
I think it will.
But everybody's going to, I don't know if it's every American. I think that it's going to be every tax-paying American is going to be the deal.
Yes. Tax.
Yeah. More to come. More to come, I hope.
Yeah. I agree, Chachi. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Whoopi Goldberg wins Stupidity Award. Thinks SpaceX and NASA compete. Says that Doge should cut SpaceX funds. Wow, she's really stupid.
Yeah, I know. You ready?
God help her.
Let's listen.
She's been doing the same thing as Joe Biden, obviously.
I know. Let's listen.
Put up with it.
Well,
and by the way, egg prices are supposed to come down, not airplanes.
Well, let me say someplace that could really use a lot of cutting. Elon has very many what do you call it?
Government contracts.
Yeah. I think, because I don't remember, maybe y'all heard it, but I don't remember looking for an armored car. And I don't remember, I don't care what it looks like. I don't remember asking for it. I don't know why I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
I want to know, when did I say, hey, we need another agency next to NASA?
Yeah.
So when did we start paying for his stuff?
You talking about SpaceX overseeing FAA?
No. He's going to be cutting NASA.
Yeah.
That's the competition. So what is the real deal here?
Money.
If we want to cut some money, let's cut some of these. I'm okay with that. Because we have to pay for it. Yeah. You are paying for everything he sends up that comes back down, that falls back down and breaks up. That's out of our pockets. We'll be right back.
Thoughts?
I didn't ask for $540 million for an environmental survey. I didn't ask for all of these hundreds of millions of dollars to go to these organizations that are doing something contrary to good moral American projects. That's not what any of us asked for, Whoopi, if we're going to use that. Everything she said was a contradiction to reality. There is absolutely nothing she's saying that makes sense in any way whatsoever. No, you didn't ask for Doge, you didn't, but the American people did. That's why they voted for President Trump, because he's actually doing the stuff. I hear you, Steph. They may need to be taken off the air, but if nothing else, where are people going to get their indoctrination from? It kind of keeps them corralled into a place right now, no matter how ridiculous it is. At some point in time, everybody that watches The View is going to be looking around and finding that they're by themselves and that nobody really agrees with them, and that they're just, oh, that's nice, and kind of pat them on the head. Thank you. All right. Go deal with the real stuff over here with the adults that have a brain and choose to use it.
Yeah.
Jenny says she's drinking the wrong Kool-Aid. I don't know what she's drinking, but it's laced with something.
Right.
Man. Liberty says they need to go away, period. Instead of the View, we should it should be called The Hate. F. Clint says the level of stupidity this bitch demonstrates is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for all the chemtrails today either. Yeah, boy, ain't that the truth?
Right, Brandon?
They
It
were
was ridiculous.
They were bad today. Yeah, we had stupid levels of I guess they got to get rid of the inventory, so they're going to spray the crap out of everything. Would be my guess. And yeah, it's so the chemtrails have been absolutely ridiculous out here today, and they're probably trying to get rid of inventory. What that one lady say that worked for USAID? Had to get rid of the evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The incriminating
they got to
evidence.
get rid of the incriminating evidence by spraying it all over us.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Hey, Angie.
Hey,
so
Ange.
glad you got to spend time with your daughter.
That's awesome.
Hopefully she's doing well with the pregnancy.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
How about some Kelly?
Kelly is good.
Let's listen.
All righty.
Hey, Christian, what if I told you that quite possibly, just maybe, the first lie the devil got you with after you raised your hand and gave your life to Jesus, you're still believing today? And not only are you believing the lie of the devil, but you think it's God who spoke it to you. Seriously, there are people who have been saved for 30, 40, 50 years that still believe this lie. And they truly think it was God that said it. I know. Just follow me for a minute. Think back to the day you gave your life to Jesus. Maybe it was in church or at a camp. Maybe it was at home with a friend. I don't know where it was, but I do know this. As soon as you gave your life to Jesus, you had a thought. You remember, don't you? But hold on, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Why did you even give your life to Jesus in the first place? Because you realized you were a sinner, right? I'm a mess and I need saving. You see, there's not one person who gave their life to Jesus because everything was amazing in their life. I got more money than I could ever spend. I got all my dream cars. My spouse is gorgeous. Life is great. So I think I'll lay down my life and start serving Jesus instead. Yeah, no, that has never happened. Every single person who gave their life to Jesus did it because they realized I'm a mess. And right then and right there, that's when the thought entered your mind. And when you heard it, you knew it didn't come from you. And based on what it told you, oh, that's got to be God. Oh, what was that you asked? What was the thought? Well, I'll tell you. The thought that you and every other person who's ever realized they need Jesus, the first thought they have after giving their life to him is this. Now, if I can just get this sin out of my life, I'm going to have a great relationship with God. I just got to fix this sin. Remember when you had that thought? Yeah, we all do. But here's the truth. That is a lie from the devil, straight from the pit of hell. Whoa, hold on, Kelly. Hey, why would the devil tell me to get rid of the sin in my life? The devil would never say that. And that right there is the problem. We think the devil would never tell us to fix the sin in our life. So it's got to be God. But time out. Think about that for a minute. Why did you come to Jesus in the first place? Because you couldn't fix your sin. We're a mess and we need a savior. So we finally give everything to him because we realized I can't do it on my own. And you're telling me the next thought you have is this relationship with God will be amazing if I can fix the things in me I came to Jesus for because I couldn't fix the things in me. You getting it? There are Christians, believers right now that have been saved 30, 40, 50 years that are still trying to fix the sin in their life. They haven't realized yet. If I could have fixed the sin in my life, I would have by now, but I can't. You see, the truth is this, my friends. You will never be able to fix the sin in your life. That is why you need Jesus. You see, this is why the devil tells you that lie. If you're trying to fix your sin, where's your focus? On you. But what does the Bible tell us? To fix our eyes on him, to seek first his kingdom. You do understand, right? When you try to fix the sin in your life, you're focused on building your castle, not his kingdom. 2 Corinthians 5:21 tells us, Jesus, who knew no sin, took our sin upon himself so that we who had no right standing with God get to take Jesus's right standing with God for ourselves. The truth that so many people seem to miss is that God never asked you to fix your life. He asked you to lay it down. And every time you try to fix the sin in your life, you have to pick it back up to do so. And if you're building your life with your hands, that means you've tied God's hands behind his back. God is a gentleman. If you want to build your life, he'll let you. Or you can lay it down and trust that he could do a far better job than you ever could. Well, okay, Kelly, so how do we get rid of the sin in our life then? You just telling me just to keep sinning? No, not at all. You want to get rid of sin in your life? I'll tell you how. Expose it. Sin grows in the darkness. And as a believer now, for you to keep on sinning, you got to hide it. Because, I mean, everyone knows you're a Jesus follower now, right? You can't keep living that way. So we hide our sin. We cover it up. And then we hate ourselves for doing it. So we decide to fix it. Because, I mean, the devil told us to. But then when we start to fix it, he lies to us again. Don't you dare tell anyone about that sin in your life. They'll judge you. They'll hate you. You should be ashamed that you do it. You're the only one who does it. Lie after lie after lie. He makes you feel so ashamed that you never expose the sin because the devil knows sin grows in the darkness, but shining light on it kills it. The truth is you can't fix your sin, but Jesus can. Your job is to shine light on it. Let someone pray with you. Let somebody walk through this with you. My Bible says there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ. You got a relationship with Jesus? Then he's not mad at you. He wants you to get free more than you do. So why don't you trust him with it? And if anyone else judges you for it, you just remember, if Jesus didn't come to this earth to condemn us, what makes them think it's their job? You just keep moving forward. So let me encourage you today. Don't buy the lie of the devil. If you could have fixed your sin by now, you would have, but you can't. And that's okay because Jesus can. Give him your life today. Shift your focus from you to your Savior. Expose those areas in your life you want to get rid of. That problem ain't nothing to our God. He loves you more than you know. You can trust him today. And until next time, think about that for a minute.
Thoughts?
All right. So turning it over to God, it makes a huge difference. It's made a huge difference in my life. But turning it over to God, it's like, yes, I understand, and I try to do exactly what he was talking about in terms of trying to fix my own sin. And I found that I would end up failing so much worse when I was trying to do it on my own. And that's exactly what it is to give it over to God. How do we give it over to God? Well, we pray for it, and then we make sure that we go do something that God would want us to do. You know, and
How fast can you run to the cross?
How fast can you run to the cross? Always, how fast can you run to the cross? But being able to do something that is God focused gets your mindset in the direction that you want to go. Because if you're doing something, I want to use the word wholesome. If you're doing something wholesome, then you are not having the time to sit there and think about doing the things that your flesh would want you to focus on. So it's kind of, I don't know. That's what's kind of worked for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's going in and out for some reason.
What? Oh, the microphone?
Yeah, it's being silly.
Oh, yeah, I heard it there. How about now?
How about now? Okay, there we go.
Test, test, test.
Test, test, test. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
All right. President Trump explains how Elon Musk helps get his executive orders implemented.
You ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
Let's do it.
And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, you know, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive and you sign it and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I literally am tech support, though. But
He gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. You know, I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great. And you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. You know, they could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, you know, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done. Get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Thoughts?
It actually makes perfect sense that that's how it's being enforced. Keep in mind, Elon Musk, he wrote Grok to his AI program to read through these ginormous bills, tens of thousands of pages long, and it's able to spit out all of everything that's wrong in each one of those bills, and it does it in less than an hour. So it would make sense that Elon Musk, and I have a feeling that that's where his little team of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over there that are writing the code for finding all of these problems in our budget. I'm sure it's the same people that write that AI code, and that AI is going through
And
and it's cleaning
brilliant.
house. Oh, they're brilliant.
They're brilliant.
Yeah, and they're on the right side, thank God.
Yeah, yes.
And so all it does is it spits out data. It says, hey, here's some anomalies of things that's showing that things aren't going on. And so Elon, he goes out and takes care of it. That's the exact leadership that President Trump needs while he's issuing these executive orders.
Right.
Y'all know I'm not a huge fan of AI, but I think AI is going to be the only way that we can get through everything before they have enough time to react. And that's exactly how President Trump has put them on their heels. They're up against the ropes, and he keeps on doing the ground and pound on them, and they don't have the ability to fight back because this AI system, is my assumption, is going through and it's finding stuff faster than they can defend any of it, which is the exact same thing that they were doing to the rest of America when they were crashing all the planes and the trains and all of the problems that were going on. We know that their hand was behind that. We don't have proof, but we just have an innate knowing. And so they've reaped what they have sown.
Exactly.
Not going to shed a tear. Aaron says, people have already had it. Make simple, playable video games and all kinds of stuff. Will be available as a standalone app or for Apple and Windows soon.
Talking about Grok.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's going to be easy. It's just they're going to be using the cutting edge. The people who wrote it, they're going to be the ones writing the program for this. That's what I'm going with. It's already on iOS as an app. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Ready?
right. Yes.
Can you read that, please?
All right. Musk says, implementing President Trump's policies is abiding by the will of the people.
Ready?
Yeah.
What Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
Okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Well, first of all, do you give it fly and rip? Or number one, and
well, I guess we must be over the target of doing something right. You know, if like they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful. I think. What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected, there's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. And you look at, say, DC voting, it's 92% Kamala. Okay, so we're in 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
they don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot. I'm like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so, but how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented, and that means we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bureaucracy. And so, I think what we're seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people.
Thoughts?
All right. So Elon Musk puts the fine point on it. It's the will of the people.
Mm-hmm.
The people knew that they were going to get Doge and Elon Musk when President Trump got elected. It was talked about well over a month before the election happened, and it actually helped to sway some votes that there was somebody of a high mental caliber that has the ability to obviously clean up Doge or clean up X or Twitter to turn it into X and got rid of all those employees. It runs more efficiently, it runs better, and there's freedom of speech. Another reason why they don't like Elon Musk is because he's pro freedom of speech. And obviously the tyrants don't like people being able to speak for themselves. So I'm excited about Elon Musk. I know that a lot of people have objections, but that a lot of people are people that are, you know, if we care about democracy, if we love democracy so much, then maybe they should bow down to democracy and recognize that over 50% plus one vote voted for President Trump, and there go, we're expecting Elon Musk. So why do you hate democracy so much? That's a good question, I think. Anyways, what's up, JD? Thanks for joining.
You ready? Can you read that, please?
Jason Miller says media's freakout is due to the White House running like a fine-tuned machine.
Right? Let's listen.
Well, I think the media is freaking out because they have nothing negative about the White House itself to report on. And so there's none of the infighting. Everything's running like a very smooth, fine-tuned machine. And President Trump is delivering the greatest first month in presidential history that we've ever seen. Think about it. The efficiency, the accountability, the action, every campaign promise, whether it be secure the border, drill baby drill, get politics out of law enforcement, let police do their job, restore America's standing in the world, actually start getting peace. We see what the president's done with the Middle East, and now he's going to get it done with Ukraine as well. And so the media is freaking out because they've never seen anyone come in and do this before.
Thoughts?
Surprise! They've never seen anybody do this before. That's why they're so unprepared for everything that's going on. Yet every single trick in the book that they've used against the American people is being used against them. Again, they don't have the ability to respond because they don't know what is the most important thing happening to them at this moment, other than the fact that they know that they're getting screwed. Because they don't have their money and they don't have the ability to fight. There's going to be a shortage of lawyers in DC here real quick, like, as they know that there's a lot of people who have been doing stuff the wrong way. As a matter of fact, that's like the second most searched item in the DC area is a good defense lawyer.
Interesting, isn't it?
It is interesting that the search in DC is turned up searching for a defense lawyer.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was funny when it was other people, right? Well, I guess we'd get the last laugh now.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you read that, please?
Dave Smith says, we cannot just move on from the gravest crimes against humanity.
Let's listen.
Been saying that forever.
Okay, so you funded this thing, created it, had such substandard like conditions that the thing gets out. You then all lie through your
Say hi. We need to say hi to Agent Smith.
What's up, Agent Smith? What is going on?
I don't know.
What, do you have like 5 billion windows open over there? No.
No, not any more than I normally do. It's just being weird tonight.
All right.
Through your teeth as you're locking down the world in response to the thing that you made without ever admitting that you made it. Okay. And then after all of that, you come up with this vaccine and lie through your fucking teeth to get people to inject something into their body that they can't uninject, knowing damn well that it doesn't work the way you're selling it as, knowingly lying about that and getting people to take this thing after you've gotten the government to shield these pharmaceutical companies from liability so that they can rake in tens of billions of dollars in profits. I'm sorry, someone needs to be prosecuted for that. Like, there is a level where you're like, no, we can't just move on from this. You can't just come on Piers Morgan's show and get to go, yeah, we did it all wrong. Like, what? And then on the intelligence side, I mean, look, what can I even say about this? The country, and everyone knows this is true, right? The country has been lied into wars. They have instituted torture. They've lied to the president of the United States. They've tried to frame the president of the United States for treason when they didn't like what he might potentially do. And they've blatantly interfered in US presidential elections. Someone's got to go to jail for that. I don't think this is too unreasonable to go, okay, so like, what's this new Trump administration really made of? We got these guys, Bobby Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, people who have are on record calling out these crimes for many years, who are now in charge of the health department and the intelligence agencies. I don't think it's too much to ask for that. Like, I want these crimes to be exposed. And when these crimes are exposed, the people, these are like amongst the gravest crimes ever committed by the US government against the American people. And the same government that I'm talking about here will throw you in a cage for decades if you were to bring a gun across state lines when you're not allowed to have it in the other state. They'll throw people in cages for decades over having the wrong plant or distributing the wrong plant. They'll throw people in jail for all types of minor infractions. This is why we have the biggest prison population in the world, both in terms of raw numbers and percentage of population. Because our government will throw people in a cage. You break the law, you get thrown in jail. Like, okay, well, if we're going to do that, why exactly should these people who have committed the gravest crimes against humanity, why should they not be prosecuted for this? I'm sorry, this shit is just infuriating to me.
Thoughts? So I think what he's upset about is treason. Yeah, I know. We went through this yesterday. It is an aggravating thing. These are crimes against everybody. That's the difference. Like the crimes that people go to jail for some of it, a lot of it is stuff that like we need people to get rehabilitated. But when you take it from 1, 10, 20 people out to, you know, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are affected by your personal crime. I'm going to say that there needs to be something done about that. Is it going to be the people who are losing their job with the government now? More than likely, no. More than likely, not at all. I mean, some of them, yes, obviously, but I think that as the computer program that I'm assuming Elon Musk is using, the AI, I have a feeling that those individuals will be found out and they will have to pay the piper for their crimes. And it's going to switch. It's going to flip at some point in time. They just have to get everything in place. So that way, once, you know, it's time, they hit the button, it's go time, hit the button, and poof, you know, everything starts to happen simultaneously. You can't go through and start arresting people here and there as you find information out, as you continue your investigation. And that's something we're not hearing is I can't speak about a current ongoing investigation, but that's exactly what's going on. They're getting all the pieces of the puzzle put together so that way when all the clocks strike 12, it's time to initiate
It's go time.
It's go time. It's time to initiate the operation to capture all of the traitors and locate and deal with all of their minions accordingly. And that's it. But I have a feeling that a lot of people that are getting out right now, they're probably going to be happy that they're not going to be sticking around as weird stuff starts to happen in the future.
Absolutely. I mean,
they're not going to spare these people their dignity.
No, and we're definitely winning, and we need to remember that.
Oh, the winning is happening.
Yeah.
And it may look, you know, like it's not pretty right now, but at the same time, it's going great.
It is.
Yeah.
It's going real great.
And they're finding out that they're whining and singing songs really doesn't mean anything.
No, we don't care.
Especially when they don't have the, you know, trillions of dollars at their disposal. People lose their motivation real fast to do dumb shit.
Yeah, exactly.
When you don't have trillions of dollars at your disposal.
Yep. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
How about some Justin?
I could do Justin. He's great.
Let's listen.
All right. That's probably a terrible way to say that.
Biden tried to bury it. Trump put it on life support. I'm talking about TikTok, this platform. This platform has turned out to be one of the biggest offenders against legacy media. Legacy media is bought and paid for by corrupt politicians. And all this is coming out. Legacy media is the propaganda machine and marketing tool for the corrupt politicians. They have always fell on the side of ungodly principles, always opposing people and candidates representing godly principles. What we, the American people and taxpayers, are witnessing right now is a collaboration between the corrupt media and the corrupt established Washington politics on both sides of the aisle. They're not appalled about the corruption that's being exposed, the truth that's being told. They're appalled about the corruption being stopped.
Thoughts?
I agree with him on the whole TikTok thing. Yeah, there's a lot of everything on TikTok. That's where I'm seeing these protests in Amarillo that are pro illegals and stuff like that. And it's like you're finding out what's actually going on in the world on TikTok. It doesn't have the filter that's given to us by the legacy media. TikTok has been a tremendous tool. I do recognize that Facebook has a lot to do with what has happened and what is currently going on with TikTok. And I do believe that the US government has a lot of say as to what's happening. And the algorithms are changing, although it's looking kind of ridiculous sometimes. All of them, all of the online things seem to be a little bit more challenging as of late. But I think that they're unleashing the rest of whatever they have for their psychological operations campaign against the people. But the people were under bigger stress before. And I've recognized, like with the whole thing with the Super Bowl, that thing spread like wildfire, that Elon Musk was going to pay for some kind of advertisement. Elon never said anything about it, but he had commercials on there, and there were some great breadcrumbs that were thrown in throughout the Super Bowl. But it hardens us. It hardens us against the attempts to subvert what we would naturally be able to understand. It does make us stronger when the other side, I guess, is doing their psychological operations campaigns, because it's everywhere. But the truth is always in there somewhere. And so, yeah, I really like the TikTok platform. And I think that it's going to be important moving forward, especially with whatever deal is going on for the US to take over TikTok. I don't think it's going to be Facebook so much as it's going to fall under that sovereign fund. And that will make the people own the information that all of these major corporations like Google and Facebook have been selling your private data. Well, the US government will own it, and so therefore nobody should be able to profit off of it. And I think that that's kind of where we're heading with all of it. I know that there's a lot of people who bash TikTok out there, but how else are you supposed to get real information? Not everybody can weed through all of the stuff that's on each and every one of the platforms.
Yeah.
So wherever people are getting the truth, I support that.
Exactly. And yeah, I use TikTok, but I also use Liberty Daily and, a lot of other ones. And, even though I've been banned many, many times on TikTok, I'm just not going to stop using it.
No.
There's good information out there.
There's great information out there. And again, there's good people there.
Yeah.
So wherever the communications need to occur, that's where they need to occur.
Right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's listen.
All right.
You Democrats have been caught with your hand in the cookie jar. You've been caught. And some of the Republicans, y'all was with them. Doge is doing a terrific job. A terrific job. The crazy part about all this is that people with common sense like me can see that they're only fighting to prevent the truth from coming out. These people are literally fighting to keep corruption in place. Like, oh my God. Why would you ever let something like $59 million from FEMA going towards illegal migrants being housed in luxury hotels? Why would you ever not want to know this as an American? When you got your own American brothers and sisters, your citizens, your fellow Americans in North Carolina, the ones who paid to make that $59 million possible, staying in tents. When our government says, forget us, we're going to take care of everybody else. We can't stand you Americans. But using the very money that we slave for to make sure everybody else is okay except us. And y'all standing behind this trash. Like, come on, bro. Where's your compassion, Americans, Democrats? Like, come on now. Man, these liberals are so far away from reality that they are going to the very bottom of these fools in their hearts that try to have some sort of support. And they are attacking Doge with every inch of energy in their body because they know he's going to keep uncovering more and more and more corruption from these thieves and these deceitful people, these evil beings that really hate Americans. They are with the globalist agenda, and now it's coming out. I am one who pays taxes. I file income taxes in the beginning of every year. I never, ever wanted to see my tax dollars going towards how fast a shrimp can run on a treadmill. Come on. These folks say there's still a systematic racism taking place that's aimed against black people. Like, come, really? Is it aimed against? It can't be aimed against black people because black people got more voices than white people right now. Like, how can you say that they're stopping us at the Super Bowl halftime, being a black man and nothing but black people performing at the halftime? Then you make a diss. You can't make this up. Y'all better start separating yourself. Better start separating yourself. Just look at the DNC meeting. Black women going on mics. Hey, hold on. I'm a black woman talking. And nobody said nothing about none of this. Nobody saying nothing about none of this. Like, come on now. There's nothing stopping black people. If you still feel like it's something stopping black people, then I don't know what America you seeing. Ain't nothing stopping black people. It's black billionaires. Like, look at the black politicians right now. Like that one lady, oh, I cannot stand her, that Waters chick. She's so rich and she's so corrupt. And they all are. And I'm happy they're getting exposed. Keep going, Doge. Keep going. And I'm going to say this before I go. If you love Jesus and you love the Lord, you can't be no Democrat. I'm just keeping it real. You just can't be no Democrat and say you love the Lord. You just can't. I don't see where anything with the Democratic Party line up to being anything close to a follower of Christ. Debate me if you want to. I don't care. I just know you can't. I'm just being real.
Thoughts?
They definitely got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Yeah. What was it that Aaron said? Oh, yeah. Make Al Capone look like a shoplifter with the amount that they've stolen. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. I have a tendency to agree on his last statement as well. I don't know how you can call yourself a Christian and be a part of the Democratic Party when the Democrat Party is asking for baby murder as part of their main platform. Makes no sense to me. F. Clinton says, considering we already spent the money, how fast can a shrimp run on a treadmill? And you know what, F. Clinton? These are the kinds of questions that we don't really need answers to. But like you said, we paid for these. So how fast can a shrimp run on a treadmill?
Yeah, and it didn't come over, but Don said he is very accurate, unfortunately. Yeah. People are speaking the truth.
How fast can a shrimp run on? Roughly 20 meters per minute.
Oh, okay.
Or around 66 feet per minute.
Now you
Interesting.
have the shit you learned.
Yeah, the crap you learned.
There you go. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's listen.
All right.
People are really scared.
Oh, no.
12 days ago, people knew where their next paycheck was coming from. They knew how they were going to pay for their kids' daycare.
Well, according to Glassdoor and ZipRecruiter, the average salary was about $72K a year, going from 53 to about 157. This is a pretty greasy salary there, Dry. So they're worried about where it's going to come from, but they'll be good. They'll just get another job. People are scared.
Their medical bills, and then all gone overnight.
18 million people are laid off in the U.S. per year, and they don't get on 60 Minutes because they're afraid.
All gone overnight for Christina Dry and Adam Dubard, fired this month in the chaotic shutdown of foreign aid distributed by the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID.
Notice how Scott Pelley framed that. Chaotic shutdown. Was it chaotic, Scott? Or did they offer a huge chunk of them a buyout, and then after they didn't take it, they said, okay, goodbye? That's so laughable. Foreign aid. Yeah, Politico received $8 million from USAID. Is that foreign aid, Scott?
More than 8,000 USAID employees were sent home by the administration.
Oh no, 8,000? Yeah, and almost 1,500 of them got an 8-month buyout offer. Remember when 8,000 active duty service members were fired for not taking a mysterious procedure that they felt might be hazardous to their health? Where was the 60 minutes for that, Scott? And that's just active duty service members. What about all the first responders, policemen, firemen, nurses, doctors, hospital workers? What about them, Scott? Soggy legacy news demon, saying demon things on a demon show. Where was that energy for the military? Somber sadness from a crusty serpent.
They're not looking for competency. They're not looking for if you're good at your job. They're looking for pure loyalty tests. And if you don't give it, you will be punished.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Adam? Like when you got fired for not taking a magical potion that you didn't think was good for your body.
And they had to leave the building. And these are folks who had decades and decades of public service serving USAID across administrations.
You mean like the military and the cop and the fireman and the first responder and everybody else?
And they were never able to walk back in the building again.
That's how firing works. Why should they go in the building? To get a freaking K-cup from the kitchen?
There was no process. No one explained to them why they were being relieved.
Shut the hell up, Scott! With your concerned face, there was no... Shut up, Scott!
To my knowledge, they received an email, and then if they didn't leave the building, they were escorted out of the building.
In other words, yes! Cry me a crocodile, tear demon. Nobody cares that you lost your job. Maybe if you didn't help them send $20 million for a new Sesame Street show in Iraq, we would care about your bill.
I think he was pissed.
He seems kind of animated about it.
Thoughts?
Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what we've been covering over here. Sorry you lost your job, but it's not helpful.
Yeah.
And if you're not helpful, then the American people probably shouldn't be paying for that. And that you should ask the billionaire class that loves all of this stupid shit, like how fast shrimp can run. 66 feet a minute. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, 66 feet in a minute. Then ask your billionaire friends for the money to support such important
stealing
studies.
our money.
Yeah.
You said on another interview that you were trying to get rid of incriminating evidence, bitch.
Well, how's your forgiveness going today, ma'am?
It's not.
No, okay, just checking. Yeah. Do you explain to your turd why it's going down the toilet?
I know.
And this is something that we haven't talked about. They were given an option.
Mm-hmm.
They were given an option, and if they chose to listen to Mad Maxine say, "Don't do it, it's a trap," as if she's Admiral Akbar or some shit. Although Admiral Akbar probably looks better, but anyways, so it wasn't a trap. It was an opportunity for you to continue to get paid, even though you weren't going to be not that you were ever working to begin with, but you were going to continue to get paid as if you were supposed to be working for 8 months, and then you were going to get a severance package on top of that. Which case then you would have well over a year's worth of income in which to pay your bills and go do things. So if you chose not to do the things that were in your best interest, just like you cared about everybody else who didn't do the things that were in their best interest, you want sympathy? Look in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
Right. And there it is.
F. Clint says, so Doge didn't uncover a new study. It spotlighted this old, misunderstood one to push its agenda. The research itself, legit science with practical implications, just poorly communicated and easily... Wait for the rest of that one.
Yeah, we'll wait for the...
What's up, TSC? How you doing? Thanks for joining. Okay, poorly communicated and easily mocked. Shrimp don't exactly scream serious business on a treadmill.
Exactly, F. Glenn.
It was a waste of our money.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gives a shit, nor does it help anything out whatsoever.
Not at all.
So,
are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
If you didn't think people were going to care about it after they heard about it, then well, maybe you shouldn't have done such a stupid test or
Yeah.
science.
Experiment.
Science is for science.
Yeah.
Humanity's so much better off now.
Oh, yeah.
That we know how fast shrimp run on a treadmill.
Okay, we're moving on.
So it could be 1727 now?
It just could be. What if nearly 300 years of history never happened? Stay with me. In 1991, a German historian named Hermann Illig proposed something that shakes the very foundation of time itself, the phantom time hypothesis. His claim? The years 614 to 911 AD were completely fabricated. They don't exist. They were inserted into history, and we've been living in a false timeline ever since. Now, who would do this? And why? Enter Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. Three powerful figures who supposedly conspired to alter historical records and manipulate the calendar. Why? Because Otto III wanted to rule in the symbolic year 1000 AD, a number that carries power, prophecy, and legitimacy. But instead of waiting, they fast-forwarded history itself. Now, think about this. We have written records from this missing period, sure. But where are the artifacts, the architecture, the undeniable physical proof? You'd expect 297 years to leave more behind, yet it's eerily scarce. And if this sounds impossible, just remember, Tartaria was erased from history. If they can erase entire civilizations, why not rewrite time itself?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
No shit.
Thoughts? And
All right.
thank you, Jenny, for sending that video in.
Thank you for sharing that, Jenny. Let's see. Hold on one second. Okay, there. Thank you for your patience. Anyway, so I do believe that there's something wrong with our timeline. I think it was even hinted, like so many other things that were hinted in the movie The Matrix, because he says we don't even know what year it is. We think it is, but we are unsure. I think that that's a possibility as to where we're at right now. I think that a lot of history has been erased. Of course, then again, I'm inclined to believe that we're in Satan's little season right now, and that would be a different way of saying Tartaria. Maybe Tartaria represented something. I have no idea, but I don't research that. But I do believe that our calendar is way off, and that there's so much that just doesn't make sense. But as this truth starts to come out and we have the ability to have control over our lives to some extent, I believe that we will be able to uncover more and more of this. But with the way all of the information is suppressed, I can only imagine what's in the depths of the Vatican and all of the storage that they have down there. I know that we're missing tons and tons of information, but I also know that humanity can get back to that. I'm not so sure on the concept of we don't have any artifacts from that time frame as a good explanation, because how much of the disposable crap that we have nowadays is going to be around 100 years from now? I think it will all be gone. These houses are barely designed, if they're even designed, to last as long as a mortgage is supposed to. They're just not built for long term, and people stay in there forever. What about all of the cheap disposable everything? Even our cars are disposable now. Houses are disposable. Everything's disposable. So more than likely it will disappear. We might tear the houses down so that way we can get the lumber, so that way we can build something that's worth a crap. Who knows? But it will disappear. But we have to get through this phase where we're at right now. We have to get more people to wake up and recognize that the corruption and the wall that's been pulled over our eyes with our own money against us, once we can get rid of that problem that is destroying everybody's lives, will we be able to figure out what the truth actually is moving forward. And once we have to get exposed to some of the truth first. I think we're going to have to go through Epstein Island first, is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That list. Once that list comes out, then maybe we can start to worry about what was Tartaria and what implications does that have for us moving forward.
Yeah.
Chachi says, how many orphans were there from the 18th century to the 20th century? A ton, lost generations. Yeah. That's excellent point, Chachi. Tons and tons of orphans. There's so much that just doesn't make sense, especially when you dig into like where the concept of the Cabbage Patch doll came from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's
Very interesting.
that conspiracy goes deep,
Very,
very deep.
very deep.
Hmm.
You ready?
Yep.
Let's listen.
All right.
Do you realize that we are the last generation on Earth that knows what life was like before social media? Back then, moments were just moments. Simple, fleeting, and ours alone. We lived them without worrying about angles or likes. A conversation wasn't about notifications. It was about voices, laughter, and silences that didn't feel awkward. There was something raw about that world, a beauty and its imperfection. If you got lost, you asked a stranger for directions, not a screen. If you wanted connection, you knocked on a friend's door. Instead of sending a quick message, that could be read and ignored. Now, everything feels different. The world is louder, but somehow lonelier. We scroll endlessly, looking for meaning. But do we even notice the things we're passing by? Memories don't feel as real. When you're too busy capturing them to actually live them, I sometimes wonder what we've traded away, and what will be left for the ones who come after us, who will never know that it meant to just be untouched by the weight of this constant digital presence. Do you realize it too? That we're the last ones who knew how to live, before we started performing our lives for everyone else.
Thoughts?
We've lost a lot of skills because of these electronic little boxes that we carry around with us all day, every day. We've forgotten how to be humans. And I think that that's a really important thing. And not that things were awesome beforehand, because everybody was focused on their own little world. I know that I was certainly one of those people before the cell phone. It was chaos, but we forgot the human beings that are right in front of us. And I've made it a point to start looking at their eyes, because so many people you can see that they're lost in their emotions. They're lost in the things that are going on in terms of what's happening in their own life without consideration for anything else. And it creates a very hollow existence, because we're always searching for something that's never going to arrive, because we're focused on everything that's wrong. What we should be focusing on is the people that are important to us in our lives. We need to spend that time with those people and be able to, at a glance, look at someone and recognize what is wrong. These are skills that we have lost because we have decided to pull away from our own very human nature. So if we can bring that humanity back into the world around us, where people actually want to spend time conversing with somebody that's directly in front of them, instead of sitting across from each other at a restaurant while they're both looking at a phone, it's like, what are you even doing? We don't even recognize, and we don't even have the skills that we used to have to be able to connect with other people. So it is a bold action to go out and try to be friendly with somebody, because people are so lost in their own little fake digital world, not realizing that if they just let it go, if they were to take the chains off of themselves and go live a regular life, that they would be significantly more happy than they are now. Randoon says, I couldn't hang with you guys without my phone, so there's that. Well, okay, fine.
I mean,
Well said.
Double-edged sword there.
It is a double-edged sword, but
there is a point where you take it too far. If you're out to dinner with your significant other and you're both on the phone instead of interacting with each other, I think that's a bit much. But, being able to do this and being able to have this wonderful family, I like that too. So
I believe that these kinds of shows, the world would be a better place if this kind of show wasn't like part of what people really want out of life. And that's to be able to have a community of people that they can understand, they can communicate with each other, and they can, recognize that they're not alone. I think that that's tremendously important. But as people open their eyes up, they do recognize that Once everybody opens their eyes up to the truth of what's going on, I think that being online to find a community of people of a like mind would be significantly like it wouldn't be as important, because when everybody has their face out of their phone, they'd be able to communicate with each other and recognize that people have more in common with each other than we don't, which is what we've been told. It's part of being in that I guess brainwashed state that all of us were put under for so long.
I just agree with Seth. Put the phone down when you need to put it down and interact with one another in person.
Yeah.
There's a time and a place. It's
There is.
like everything else, moderation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's before the phones, it was the TV. Before the TV, it was the radio. Before the radio, it was the news, and all of those in conjunction with each other is exactly why we are where we are right now. It's just interact with people, and then they'll realize that hollow life on the internet of the curated pictures and about how last night's dinner was delish and whatever, because you can't say delicious anymore for some reason. Anyways,
And I hate that. Say the whole damn word.
say the whole damn word. Anyways, you'll get the point. Anyways, Liberty says, when I was growing up, the wall phone would ring, and then you would hear the answer the phone. It's your turn. No, it's your turn. I answered it last time. See, human interactions. What more could we ask for?
Yes. And by the way, Jenny has sent the last few videos,
Has
and
she?
so I
That's
really
amazing.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Jenny, you're
Really
awesome.
Great videos.
Yeah, thanks.
You ready?
Those are great videos.
Let's listen. She sent this one too.
Nice.
Let's watch.
All right.
This is an exact replica of the face from the Shroud of Turin. While AI and other tools can enhance the image, they often lose some of the original expressions. To ensure authenticity, we've superimposed the shroud face back onto the enhanced model and manually integrated its details. What you see here is not just a face. It's the most accurate depiction of the Shroud Man, aligning with what a first-century Jewish Nazarene would have looked like. Computer model analysis confirms Semitic features and even a Hebrew Nazarene hairstyle, consistent with the time of Jesus. Every field of science that has studied this burial cloth overwhelmingly supports its authenticity. This face will portray Jesus in the upcoming episode of John 3, where he meets Nicodemus. Here are some screenshots and still images from that animation coming soon.
Thoughts?
Wow. That's something else. I know that I didn't believe it, that the Shroud of Turin was real once upon a time. I thought it was absolute hokum. I thought it was hokum because science said that, it's too young, not understanding, before, because I didn't do any research and I believed everything science says, and recognizing that the clipping that they took had some repairs that were made to the shroud. And so it just kind of all plays out that, hey, matter of fact, the Shroud of Turin might be the real deal. And we still can't explain how the image was imposed onto that cloth the way it was. It would make sense. And I could see that as being the face of. We just need to make sure that we're not worshiping a cloth or an image. That's something that I think that Islam gets 100% correct with Muhammad by covering up his face. You're not supposed to worship him. You're supposed to worship God. And I think that we, as human beings, desire to put our devotion into something tangible, when in all actuality, it's the intangible that we are kind of worshiping. Actually, not kind of. It's the intangible that we're worshiping, because God is everywhere and nowhere. And so we can't touch him and we can't see him. But yet at the same time, we can see him everywhere, and we can feel the work of his hands everywhere. So I think I think it's beautiful. I think it's a neat thing, and I look forward to science continuing to try to figure out ways to lie to everybody that might actually be the Shroud of Turin, just like they keep saying that the Ark isn't in Turkey, and that they say that, none of these biblical sites that are everywhere are there. It's just what they do. So I guess the real part of that is making sure that we're doing our own faith journey as we determine what we believe or what we don't believe. And I know that before I didn't believe in the Shroud of Turin as a possibility. Now I have a very high likelihood inside my mind and my heart that the Shroud of Turin is very real.
I agree
and
with
a
you.
legitimate,
Yeah. And I
article
do
of faith.
believe the Ark is in Turkey.
Yeah, not the covenant. Yeah, the Ark, Noah's Ark.
Noah's
That one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Mhm.
Let's listen. It's Craig, by the way.
All right, good to go.
You have to understand that you are only as strong as you are honest. You're only as strong as you are honest. You have to be honest. What I want to do in my own life, knowing that I'm a warrior with a mission from my God, I want to acknowledge that my enemy will try to stop me and disengage me from the battle. And so I'm going to put some safeguards in my life as a part of my battle plan so I will not be as vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy. So some things I do, this is just common sense, to honor my bride, Amy, and to honor my God and my pastoral calling. I'm not going to be alone with women in any context. We're not talking in my office. You're not getting in my car and we're driving to a restaurant so we can sit across from each other and have intimate talk. I know in the business world that's kind of common and whatever, like maybe the business world needs to grow some brains and recognize there's just no reason for that.
Thoughts?
It's about putting that buffer space out there, and we kind of talked about it before. It's not just being in the presence of a woman alone. It could also be what you watch on TV. What kind of media are you taking in? Does it inflame the desires of the flesh, or is it something that brings you closer to God? And by creating that buffer, by separating yourself from these things that can be those traps and pitfalls, because the traps and pitfalls are everywhere. It's by design from the adversary. It's what he does. And so we make sure that we set up that defensive perimeter around us, so that way it's much more difficult for us to fall into those kinds of traps. We have to think ahead. We have to think ahead for our own salvation, for our own path, to maintain that path on the journey towards God. And the best way to do that is to make sure that we're not doing the things that are going to get us to trip up. So it's just, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? It works in more than just physical health. It works in spiritual health as well.
It really does.
Exactly, Mike. Never put yourself in that situation.
It's just easier that way.
It's easier to not put yourself in a bad situation than it is to get yourself out of a bad situation.
Yes.
Because you didn't keep yourself out of it to begin with.
Right. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read that, please?
Winning, Kevin O'Leary and Scott Jennings silenced CNN panel as they called for Doge to fire more people.
Are you ready?
Yes. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, wait. No. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Haven't heard my Doge in a while.
Let's listen.
All right.
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity, when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find, like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. The code is cobalt. It's from the 60s. It needs CapEx put into it for the technology to be upgraded to make it safer. Fat like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue I've ever seen, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut, more cutting. Believe me, it's going to work out just great. Everybody should be happy
people with the nuclear codes, cut them too.
Cut everything, because if you don't see what they're doing and they can't show you that they're adding value, you whack.
But it's not clear that
Go
they're
ahead.
even asking people to show us what you're doing. Again, this was a story Friday, and literally Elon said, "Oops, we gotta rehire them because nobody knows how to do what these people know how to do."
Yeah, the
And he
nuclear
admitted-
thing. Okay, it gets it wrong once in a while. Big deal. So what?
I agree
That's
with that.
10% of the time.
It's okay. I actually think it's okay if they run into a stumble here or there because the project is so massive. The need to cut is so massive. The government is so massive. It's inconceivable that you wouldn't make a mistake here or there. But I think that's acceptable if the greater goal is achieved, which is a smaller government, more efficient government.
even if someone
trim the fat.
even if someone dies, or even if someone, because
Are
we're
you
talking
alleging that
about,
someone has died from this?
we don't know. I'm talking about when the rubber
care
meets
about the
road.
people
I'm
in the
talking about,
Carolinas?
for example, Kansas City, 30,000 government employees might be laid off. It will destroy the economy of Kansas City.
Might.
That's okay.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm reading what the individuals from Kansas City have been saying, that they're very concerned.
What do you think
if
they're going to
30
say when they're going to get
Of
whacked?
course they're going to say that. But my point is, do we think that's smart
Does
to
the-
live in an American city just go under?
How many American cities need
Like Obama did with Las
massively
Vegas?
oversized federal government to stay afloat?
Don't go
isn't
to
that says
Vegas.
more about the city than the government?
But when did we get to the point where presidents are measuring themselves by how many people they put out of work instead of how many people they get
And
jobs
not a
for?
moment too soon.
Yeah,
Not
this
a moment
is
too
crazy.
soon.
This is
Because
absolutely.
the
And if
government
they're-
only
and if
ever
they're
gets
big
bigger,
fat
never
chickens,
smaller.
hopefully they lay some eggs and maybe then we can afford it.
Thoughts? You want to read Chachi's comment?
First, Chachi says, keep digging, CNN. You're doing great. Oh, yeah, they're doing a great job. And I noticed the first argument that heifer made in the beginning is the people with the nuclear codes. Come on. No, as a matter of fact, if you were actually paying attention because you were something that resembled a journalist, you would recognize that President Trump already said we're going to keep the people who work on our nuclear arsenal. It's already been stated. So it's a straw man argument. You're trying to take the worst case scenario that you can come up with. Oh my God, we're going to have nukes. Nobody has control over it. Were you worried about it when they were going to Ukraine? Let's talk about uranium one and see how much you actually care about nukes that are going off doing weird shit that nukes shouldn't be doing. See, you haven't been doing journalism, so you don't bring those things up, and it was never a concern of hers. So I don't care what they have to say. I do agree. These cuts need to be made, and
Cut more.
And they use words like might. The 30,000 people might lose their job. Is
it's going to shut down the city of Kansas City? No, it won't.
no. And again, you didn't care about Las
You know
Vegas
what
when the president.
biggest- Sorry.
You didn't care about Las Vegas when President Obama said, don't go to Vegas. And everybody in Las Vegas lost their job that day.
Yeah.
I have plenty of friends who can speak to the fact that the day he said that, they got called in to the convention center that they were working for, and they fired everybody because all of the work disappeared.
Yeah.
And then the housing crash happened.
Yes.
Did you care about people losing their house then? Did all these government workers give a shit about anybody?
Yeah.
Did they care about anybody
No,
like
they
they care about
didn't.
themselves? No, they didn't.
And you know who the biggest employer in Kansas City is? Hallmark. Not the government.
So there's that. Learn to code.
Oh.
Learn to
Learn
code.
to code. Are you ready?
Mhm.
Can you read that, please?
It's time to protest the Doge protesters.
Let's listen.
It's funny because this brings up a really important point, I think. Where do we direct our anger? Now that Doge, now that President Trump, now that the White House in general is exposing so much fraud, so much waste, and so much corruption, who are we supposed to be mad at? And the answer, of course, is just about everybody. But there are there's a group of people that's not getting nearly enough anger. Should we be mad at the bureaucrats for wasting our money and sometimes stealing our money? You betcha. Of course we should. What about the members of Congress, past and present? Should we be mad at them for at the worst case scenario, or sorry, the best case scenario for them would be that they're allowing it. In the worst case scenario is that some of them, maybe most of them, are on the take in some form or fashion. That's why they're allowing it, while others are just allowing it because they're cowards, as certain congressmen are finally coming out and acknowledging. Yes, we should definitely be mad at them. What about past administrations? Did we really need Elon Musk and Doge to come in here? Why couldn't they do this before? It's not like he's
We know why.
super ultra special. I mean, he is definitely super ultra special in many ways, but it's not like they couldn't have done this before him. So yeah, we do need to be upset with past administrations, and that does include the first Trump administration, who left all this hanging there when they were in in office the first time. So yeah, we should be mad at them. Should we be mad at legacy media for doing their prescribed job of defending Democrats and defending the uniparty swamp and defending the deep state and defending the globalist elite cabal? Of course, we should be mad at them. They're on the take. They're supposed to be journalists. They're supposed to be focused on the truth, and yet they have become
Fourth estate.
complete misinformation and disinformation propagandists. So yeah, they deserve our anger as well. But there's a group of people that I don't think they're getting nearly enough anger from us, nearly enough pushback from us. And that's the shills, the protesters, the people who are, for whatever reason, against the exposure of corruption and fraud and waste in our government. There's nothing. Okay, there's absolutely positively no reason that any lucid American citizen should do this unless they're being bribed or they're stupid. That's it. That's it. There's no other reason for them to do it. Well, you could throw in the whole they want to destroy America aspect of things, but I classify that under stupidity because they live in America. It's sort of like, sinking your own boat while you're on the boat. That's dumb. That's what they're trying to do. So yes, they're stupid. And then a lot of them are getting paid. We know that. We know that the agitators, that professional agitators that get paid by the Soros groups and the various other NGOs out there, that they're getting paid for this. Those are the people that, to me, those are the ones that deserve far more anger from us, from American citizens, from patriots, because we can sort of, I'm not trying to make an excuse here, but in a way we can sort of excuse the bureaucrats because they're just trying to make money in an evil and devious way, or trying to advance themselves or whatever. We can sort of kind of excuse Congress because we've known. Congress, that's what Congress does. They are a group of corrupt individuals who are either come into DC and they're already corrupt, a lot of them, or they come into DC and they get corrupted. There's like a tiny handful of half-decent members of the House and Senate. Otherwise, the vast majority of the Republicans, Democrats, doesn't matter. They're all corrupted in some form or fashion. Past administrations, yeah, we can be mad at them, of course. But we can also excuse that maybe they just didn't know. I can say that with a certainty that had President Trump known the degree of corruption, waste, and theft, let's call it what it is, the degree of fraud that's happening in the federal government, if he had any idea in his first administration, he would have gotten somebody, maybe not Elon Musk at the time, but somebody to look into this. So all of those people get excuses. What about legacy media? That they're trash, they're garbage anyway. So they get the excuse of, well, their reputation, their future is already set, so might as well double down and try to hide the try to I guess try to make themselves seem useful to their puppet masters in their dying days. No, it is the people, the American citizens that are protesting Elon Musk, protesting Doge, protesting these cuts that are being made, the exposure. At the very least, acknowledge that it's a good thing that we're finding out that tens of millions of deceased Americans are still receiving Social Security benefits. It's a good thing for us to know that kind of information. It's a good thing for us to learn that our tax dollars are being spent to send people to Afghanistan to teach them about modern art, which includes showing them an image, hey, look, what is this? It's a urinal that's got some graffiti on it, and they're passing that off as Western art. No wonder people across the globe hate Americans, and they think that we're really stupid because the representatives that USAID and others are sending out there to try to teach them or help them, get them condoms, get them circumcisions on the U.S. taxpayer dollar, show them art and tell them, hey, yeah, no, seriously, this is art. Of course they're going to hate it. Of course they're going to despise us because we're idiots, at least what we're portraying to them through through this government waste. So I have to ask myself, we know that they're either bribed or stupid. We know that many of them, either way, are on the side of evil. But what can we do about it? How do you protest a protester? I would argue the best thing that we can do, beyond the standard, okay, make sure that your friends and relatives know what Doge is really doing and counter the legacy media, whatever, propaganda. That's fine. That's important. We have to do that with pretty much everything. But in this particular case, I would argue that we do need to, as patriotic American citizens, stand up and go engage in counter protests. If they're going to be somewhere, whether it's at a Tesla superstore or in front of the Capitol, we too need to be there. We need to go out there and make our voices heard as well, even if we're going to be outnumbered, because I'm not going to pay anybody to go protest. If they're going to protest basically in favor of, protest against government overreach, against government waste, against government corruption and fraud, if we're going to do that and protest against the counter protest, or the protesters that are out there protesting Doge and Elon Musk and whatever, you're going to do it because you want to, not because I'm going to pay you or anybody else is going to pay you. But I would say that to me is action that we can take, because they are getting a voice. They are. The legacy media is covering that, and they're not seeing any support from us. Oh, great. We get to go on X and give our support. I get to go on a show and say, I support Elon Musk's actions and I support what Doge is doing. But legacy media is not doing that. And as much as they're dying, as much as they're on their last leg, they still do have reach. So I would call on my fellow patriots, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I will work on, as of now, I'm going to start beginning the process of, let's find out if there's going to be any protests near me, within driving distance, and let's see if we can get a counter protest going. I would ask you to do the same. If they have the narrative control, in other words, if all that's being shown by legacy media are people saying Doge is bad, stop trying to find corruption. They don't frame it like that, of course, but that's really what they're saying. If that's the only thing that's getting coverage, then you're going to have more Americans that are thinking, maybe Doge is bad. I know, you can't help stupid sometimes, but it's true. There are people that just won't pay attention. They're going to go do whatever CNN or MSNBC or Fox News tells them to do, or tells them what the truth is. So we have to be there. So with that said, get off your butts. Let's go counter protest these protesters and let America know that we support Elon Musk. We support the efforts of Doge. We support President Trump, and we support the righteous path forward for the United States of America.
Thoughts?
Maybe I'm just being contrarian today. I'm noticing that about what's going on, but
That's okay.
what I'm going to say is I don't think going to a counter protest is a great idea.
I don't
It
either.
only serves to legitimize that these people are out there. There were 2 pro-illegal alien protests on this weekend, right? And they gathered crowds of tens.
Right.
It was a sight to not bother yourself with. It had absolutely no real bearing on anything, and one of them was at the university. Oh no, university students protesting something. Oh my God, what a surprise! Or you just let them not matter, which they don't. Their opinion shouldn't matter, and by only going there to rail against people that are paid to be there, who are probably going to have the support of the paid off politicians, and so therefore they're going to send police after you as if you're the agitator or something. Is it really worth it? I will say that what have we been doing this entire time? We've been having personal interactions with people and explaining facts and showing people where to get information from. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. The very things that they wanted us to not do is exactly what we did, which is talk. Let them see that you're a human being. They can't fight like they can't be angry when they see the humanity of the person in front of them. So if you're not coming at them as hostile as they're coming at you, and you're being rational and calm, again, you might not always be there to have that conversation with that person to get them to change their mind, but there's other people who are listening, and those other people who are listening are the people that are on the fence. That's why they're keeping their mouth shut, because they don't already have all the answers, and they're humble enough to know it. So you have that conversation. Let them yell, let them scream, let them be angry, but it doesn't happen when it's kind of a one-on-one conversation. So you have a human conversation with another human being, and they're more likely to listen. And that's exactly what has gotten us to the point where we're at now, that President Trump got elected again against every effort to steal it again, the election that is. And so therefore, if that's what got us to this point, then we need to keep doing what we're doing, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So go out there and make those human conversations that you see on a daily basis, and make sure that it's a peaceful conversation, and use your gut, use your instincts, and try to understand with your heart what they're trying to say, so that way you can communicate with your heart the truth that we see, despite what they're being told.
Yeah.
In the end, it's love that conquers all.
Absolutely.
We've been trying to beat the shit out of the world with our military for a long time now, and we still haven't won the world. So let's go back to the way we won the world before, which is with our hearts.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hope. I appreciate that. Aaron, protest? I got to work, LOL. Who has time for that? The people who are paid to go protest.
Yeah.
But they don't have the money to do that anymore, because they're not getting paid, because they cut off the coffers.
Yes, they did.
That's why they're only drawing crowds of 10s.
Exactly.
If that.
And who cares?
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Tom Homan says AOC is the dumbest person to ever be elected to Congress.
Let's listen.
Boy, that is...
no truer statement has ever been uttered.
I mean, think about the amount of stupidity that's been in Congress, though.
I know.
I mean, if you put too many Marines on Guam, it might tip over.
We're going to listen. You ready?
Yeah.
First of all, I think she's, I won't go after her on
Tom, please
TV,
please do. Say what's on your mind. It's a holiday.
Look, she's the dumbest congresswoman ever elected to Congress, and she proves that every day. And look, bottom line is, I can't believe any member of Congress, Republican, Democrat, Independent, would want to educate criminal illegal aliens who are in the country illegally, been convicted of a violent crime, and have been ordered removed by an immigration judge after due process at great taxpayer expense. You got a congressman or congresswoman that does not want ICE to do the job that Congress has mandated them to do and funds them to do.
Thoughts?
Providing aid and comfort to the enemy? You can't tell me that the illegals that are here, that have left their country, come to our country, burn our flag while they're waving the flags from their shithole that they left to begin with, that is not immigrants. That is an invading army. And when you are supporting an invading army, it sounds more and more like treason.
I know. And she should be arrested.
Oh, yeah.
And tried.
The trials must occur.
Yeah.
We just got to get to that point.
I know.
Patience.
Patience is a virtue.
Boy, are we learning that one.
Yeah.
That's all right. It'll all happen soon.
Soon. You ready?
Yeah.
Can you read that, please?
Such an annoyingly ambiguous word.
I know.
Anyways. Shock. Piers Morgan admits Alex Jones was right about SSRIs being linked to suicide and mass murderers.
Let's listen.
Been saying this for years.
I know.
Can everyone stop talking for a moment? Francesca, the point I'm making is America has 80% of the world painkiller consumption. 80%, right? You have millions of don't respond yet, millions of young people who are taking completely unnecessary, mind-bending drugs for things like anxiety, depression, often self-diagnosed. And guess what happens? You then have a load of weirdo, loner kids running around with their brains scrambled who commit mass shootings and stuff like that. There is a direct correlation.
Flashback. You finished? Yes, I am finished. You will not take my right. You go through background checks to get guns. How about Prozac? You know the number one. Oh, that's the big sponsor, isn't it? Or that whole class of drugs.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, got to cut that off, don't you? Don't want to talk about the U.S. number one cause of death is suicide now because they give people suicide mass murder pills.
Calm down.
Your answer is give more money to the psychiatrists and psychologists to put more crazy people on drugs that make them kill people, Piers.
Let's try and have a debate here.
Yeah.
Answer me this question.
I'm sick of the same old script here, bud.
It's fine, bud. You've had a lot to say.
No,
Just
my
answer
point
this
is the
question.
Second Amendment is sacrosanct,
Do you know,
and you're not getting it.
Do you know which weapon was used in the Oregon shopping mall mass shooting recently?
I understand that people who are mentally ill on all the serotonin reuptake inhibitors who play these shoot-'em-up games want to go out and do this. Because there's criminals, I don't lose my rights, Piers. Because there's criminals, I don't lose my rights.
End of flashback.
America is ridiculously over-medicated, particularly in the area of antidepressant drugs and anxiety drugs and so on. And Britain's going the same way.
No, I think it's great. I think it's great.
There are millions of young people.
You know what happens?
Hang on,
Piers,
Francesca.
I know you
Hang on,
live
don't start
in
shouting.
a
Young people are getting massively over-medicated. So I am actually in favor of RFK trying to pull America away from its addiction to mind-bending drugs.
Put another nickel in the Alex Jones was right.
Thoughts?
All right, so I've been railing on these selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors for quite some time now.
Yes.
And it's been so apparent. It's been the common denominator with every mass shooter that we've had. I cannot think of a single incident where an SSRI was not involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that people have been screaming from the rooftops forever. They just seem to get silenced for some reason.
Constantly.
I don't know why that would happen. I wonder if that could have been where some of the USAID money went.
Right.
We do have a pharmaceutical problem here in this nation, and people are looking to escape. People wouldn't be looking to escape from life if they actually had a chance to do the things that they were designed and destined to do, but they've been suppressed because all of their money has been stolen from them. They get slave wages, and then they give you $100 and they take back 99. Then you got to pay your taxes, and then you got to pay your other taxes to the state. Fortunately we live in a state where there isn't taxes on the income, but there's still taxes on food. Got to pay taxes for everything. Oh, and if you, even though you have a place to live, you have to pay for insurance to make sure that your house, if it catches on fire, that they're gonna, pay out and make sure that, even though you lost your entire life in that house, that it would get rebuilt. But we're finding out that that doesn't work. What about your car insurance? So that way you can get to and from work. Mm-hmm. All of your money is taken. You don't have an opportunity. That's why people are so depressed, because they don't have a chance to live. Meanwhile, they see all of these ass clowns on Instagram and Facebook and all of these socials where people are going on vacay here and vacay over there, yet they don't ever do anything. And I'm sure that every one of their employees hates them, and they're excited when they go on vacation. So they don't have to put up with their trash. If society was ordered in a manner where we treated everybody like a human, people would probably need a lot less of the drugs to put up with these tyrants.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Exactly.
Steph says, I would love to hear him say to Alex Jones, sorry, bud, you were right and I was wrong. I think that's about as close as we're going to get. But you know what? Piers Morgan, he's certainly kind of slow waking some people, isn't he?
He is.
Has been for a while. Kind of wonder if he was a white hat all along, just playing as a black hat.
Who knows? Who knows?
Steph says, well, the Bible tells you they won't give up their pharmakia. Yeah, well, By the way, pharmakia, for y'all that don't know, pharmakia is the Greek root word that we use for pharmacy, which actually means poison, because they used to use snake venom to treat all sorts of ailments.
Yeah.
Snake oil.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Hope says, continue prayers for silver lining in her husband. She said she is feeling about 65% better. I am grateful that
Praise
people,
Lord.
praise God that people are getting better. And we look forward to them coming back. And we will certainly keep everybody in our prayers. But especially those who are missed.
Yeah.
Little Uncle says, Lord, I've missed y'all. Company came by. Oh, well, we're glad you're back.
We're glad you're back. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
If I'm single in this culture, ain't no way in the world, y'all, I'm going on a show. Y'all, we have lost our mind. Ain't no way in the world I'm about to walk my single self out. Have some potential suitors standing in line with red balloons. Have you seen this foolishness? Just ready to pop it once they see something or hear something they don't like. Is that how shallow we've gotten as a culture? I wish you would. Do they have mental health professionals on this show? I mean, you see it, people just walking. One dude I watched, it was messed up. She's like, he got that beard dye in his hair and stuff. I was like, yo, I use beard dye. I think that show is realer than we want to admit. I think all of us put our feet in the psychological shoes of the person that walks out there and sees the people holding the balloon and are just hoping that they don't see something or I don't say something that makes them pop the balloon. Many of us in this room, if we're honest, the reason that we curate our lives and our Instagram pages and we show the best parts and we hide the worst parts is because deep down inside, we are afraid that if somebody sees who we really are, if somebody knows the real struggle and the real issues that we have, they are going to pop the balloon and run away.
Thoughts? Have we lost our minds?
Of course we've lost our minds. Look around. It's easy to see. Look, we've talked about this on more than one occasion. Nobody takes a picture of the dog crap on the carpet. Oh man, the dog just shit on the carpet. Then share it on Instagram. I mean, thank God people don't do that. But what he said was right. If people actually saw the truth of the how people really were, they'd probably stop following. Could you imagine if Kim Kardashian would have actually told the truth on her stupid ass channels? Of course, then again, people found out. That's why she lost so many people. And I'm sure she'll continue to lose more as time goes on. The thing is we've been so fake for so long. That's why it's important to stop looking at everybody's guided tour of what their life, they want you to believe their life is. Nobody's life is that good. Everybody has challenges. So go live a real life and don't worry about the stuff other people are putting on the internet about how great theirs is.
Exactly. I mean, nobody does the 3 a.m. Oh, the cat threw up.
Yeah.
That's how I woke up.
Jenny. Some share way too much on
social media.
Social media. Oh, ain't that the truth? Yeah. But I guess we're all on our own path and we learn what we need to learn when we're supposed to learn it. Aaron says, I have photographed dog poo simply so I could text the picture to friends and family that were being turds. I mean, I guess sometimes we need to be petty.
I guess.
Jenny says, certain things should be private. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You ready?
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
$20 million for fiscal federalism in Nepal. Listen to these numbers. This is all fraud. $19 million for biodiversity conservation in Nepal. $1.5 million for voter confidence. We want to give them confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $2.5 million for inclusive democracies in South Africa. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well. They're doing a lot better than we do in the schools, aren't they? $2 million to develop sustainable recycling models to increase socioeconomic cohesion among marginalized communities in Kosovo and Eshkali and in Egypt. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. I could, by the way, I could read this all day long. I could go on all day long, and you'll see hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're doing it. But when I saw the Social Security numbers, I said, wow, that's really something. So we have, let's just go above 100 years old. We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old. Everybody knows that's not so. We have a very corrupt country, and it's a sad thing to say, but we're figuring it out now.
This one I wanted to play because he was talking about there's millions of Americans over 100 that are getting Social Security.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not true.
There's some guy that was actually, from what I understand, he's in Maine, and he actually fought for President George Washington when he was General Washington during the Revolutionary War. Yeah, he's been getting a Social Security check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to answer that?
Hey, Jeff, thanks for joining, man. Really, it's kind of current events / conspiracy theories / how we can go about life in a godly kind of way, despite the way everything is around here. But thanks for joining. Stick around for a little while, and you know what? We're happy to have any kind of have a legitimate conversation, and feel free to get your input in there, because everybody's got something of value to say, provided they say it with the intent of providing value.
And respect.
And respect. Yeah.
That's all we care about here.
Yeah. Respect gives respect. Anyways, so all of these people, there's lots of money that's been getting stolen from us through the Social Security Administration. Nobody's surprised by that. I do believe that a house cleaning is going on over there, and I have a feeling that they're going to be able to connect a whole bunch of dots as to who the perpetrators are of so much of the fraud. Will they get everybody? No, I don't know if they can, because these people have been trying to hide stuff forever and a day in terms of the amount of money that they've been stealing from all of us to enrich themselves. I mean, look at USAID. That was just their blatant, we don't care if you know or not, because we care about how fast shrimp can run on a treadmill kind of place.
Oh, God. And we did the best to hide the incriminating evidence.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's what
she said. Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to be found out. And these lists are huge, but we don't get to, what is our deficit? How many trillions of dollars? We don't get to $1 trillion deficit, whatever, over $1 trillion deficit by everything being run the way it should.
Yeah.
Like China wouldn't even have $1 trillion deficit.
Yeah.
So why should we?
Exactly. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that, please?
Black Trump voter hilariously lambasts Democrats and the legacy media.
Let's listen.
Let us listen.
And you people still don't get it. You don't get it. I voted for Donald Trump, Black Trump supporter, voted for Donald Trump to do what he's doing. Did you expect Donald Trump to do this? Not all this. Oh, it feels so good. That's how I feel. Do you like Elon Musk? Yes. Well, yes. Yes, I do. I'm watching Democrats tell me, I thought Republicans like small government. Well, that didn't work, so we did Elon. That's why we got Elon, to help shrink it. Look what he's doing for the USAID. They're dropping their workforce from 10,000 to 300. Black History Moment. Black History Moment. Every last black that's on television seem to be all sucking off the Democrat teat. All of them give the same talking point, the same concerns, all Democrat approved. All of you Democrat approved. Well, Donald Trump, he really ain't helping black people. He really ain't helping black people. You brag one moment black people didn't support Donald Trump. So why are you upset Donald Trump ain't supporting black folk? You can't have it both ways, but he is. What Donald Trump is doing, he's eliminating the, are you a DEI hire or are you a hire? Yes, and people have a right to say that. I'm enjoying every single bit of this. Friday, I'm loving it. Trump kicking butt. You don't like it? Guess what? You didn't vote for Trump. We're out here protesting. We're protesting Doge. Did you vote for Donald Trump? No. So why am I surprised that you out here protesting Trump? You didn't vote for him. So of course you're not going to like it. But as for people like me, I'm loving it. Enjoy your Friday.
Thoughts?
The narrative that we've been getting told that they're not going to be able to upkeep now because USAID slush fund isn't there to pay off the Mockingbird media as much as it was before. The narrative that Trump is bad for black people and black people don't like Trump, it's going away. All of their false narrative is vaporizing right in front of our eyes. Look at how ridiculous Whoopi Goldberg looks right now. We haven't heard from Sharpton or any of those other paid race baiters. They're not saying anything right now, are they? I don't think so. I haven't been hearing anything from them. It's because the whole notion is dead. It doesn't work anymore. Their race card has been overdrawn and the card has been cut into pieces, and they're not allowed to use it anymore because nobody cares. Thing is the American people are realizing, hey, we're Americans and we don't care about these things that they keep telling us we're supposed to care about. But every interaction that I have with somebody with some other race is always cordial and kind and respectful and courteous. So why should I give a crap about what the news tells me, whether or not I'm supposed to hate this or that or the other person? And I find out time and time again that so many of them want Trump because they can see that he's always cared about black people. Until, of course, he ran as a Republican, and then everything was very, very different. It's all different now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of ridiculousness, but it's nice to see the narrative crumble. And as the narrative crumbles more and more every single day, and people realize, hey, we're in this together, and it's us versus the parasite class. I mean, the billionaires and the elected officials
and the thieves.
Well,
Let's call them what they are.
The thieves that have stolen the purse strings of our nation. People are recognizing who the bad guy really is, and the bad guy is usually the one on TV making the most amount of whining kind of noise that you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't work anymore. Praise be to God.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
I'm with him.
Who?
That last guy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
voted for it.
I voted for it.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, well, over again, these are the people that say they love democracy so much.
Yeah.
So why don't you appreciate the democracy of 50% plus one vote is the majority, and the majority gets to rule. So democracy wins. Yay.
Yay.
Maybe you'll start to actually appreciate the republic now.
Exactly.
Go democracy.
Exactly, Aaron. Thieves and traitors.
Thieves and what? Traitors.
Traitors.
Yeah, those.
Yep. Are you ready?
After the court system has shown that they are in fact traitors. We'll see what happens.
Let's listen.
We should.
A wise man once said, hate has 4 letters, but so does love. Enemies have 7 letters, but so does friends. Lying has 5 letters, but so does truth. Cry has 3 letters, but so does joy. Negativity has 10 letters, but so does positivity. Life is two-sided. Choose the better side of it.
All right, honey.
All right. Life is about choices, and it may not necessarily be the fork in the road, or the fork in the road might actually be the decision that you make as to what you actually perceive the situation you're in to be, if that makes sense. So let me use a phrase that, Dad taught me back in the day, and that was two men behind bars. One sees mud, one sees stars. It's up to you to determine what your personal feelings are. Are you looking at the mud and complaining about how bad everything is, or are you looking up at the stars and looking at the possibilities? Both people are behind bars. It's about what you see and what you perceive, and what you focus on determines how you feel as you go through your day-to-day life. So make sure that you're looking at everything from the positive point of view. It's been brought up time and time again. Plato talked about the chariot driver. There's a white horse and a black horse, and it's about how you can make sure that your chariot goes, in the direction that you determine it is. Are you the Native American concept of the black wolf and the white wolf? Which one will you feed? It's up to you to determine what your happiness is. And the only way you can determine your happiness is by making sure that you keep that positive mental attitude. And the best way to make sure that you can keep that positive mental attitude is to have a good relationship with your Creator, understanding what the Bible says, and recognizing that the real glory and riches are not on this plane of existence, but on the other side. And when I say the other side, how good does it feel when you go out and do some kind of charity? You do something good for somebody. It makes you feel good inside. These are the things that are important, because you make somebody else feel good, which makes you feel as though you have done something good. And doing something good is probably one of the best feelings, more so than, well, I wouldn't know about getting a Ferrari, but, maybe one day I'll get a Ferrari, but I bet you if I got one of those, I'm going to be worried about the oil changes and how much those things cost, more so than I would feel good if I spent my time making the world around me a better place.
Amen.
Seasoning?
It's about perspective. If you constantly stay in a negative vibration, you're just bringing more of that to you. You're going to get more and more negative things thrown at you. But if you stay in a moment of joy, more and more joy is going to come to you. It's okay to smile. And it's okay to not let things bother you. Just keep moving forward and know that He is right by your side constantly.
Beautifully said.
Yep.
All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and cut it at about the 2-hour mark, which is what we generally try to do. But anyways, we do try to cut it at 2. We've just been going into 2.5 lately.
I know, but it's not like we're doing it earlier.
Look, my back teeth are floating.
Yes, I know.
All right. So anyways, look, we look forward to seeing y'all again tomorrow. We're here Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And we are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pilled.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pilled.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, you're our family. We know you love to push buttons because we push them all the time. So go over there and clickety-click away.
There you go, everybody. All right, everybody. We do truly appreciate you showing up, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.